Hey, what's up, everybody? BDL44 coming at you with another video. All right, so I had a therapy session with Lydia. Also talked with the caseworker beforehand. That was good. Caseworker got me. She suggested I reapply for SSI. That's what she said. That enough time has passed since the denial, and we got enough paperwork of me having 2 years worth of therapy that we didn't have when I initially applied. So she was like, you should probably independently apply. She was like, but they do have a company that kind of sorts through all of that for you. We can get you set up with that program. They'll sort through all your paperwork and they tell you if it's likely they'll take you and to put in a good word for you. So I was like, yeah, put me in that program. She's like, it could be a little bit of a wait for the program. I'm like, you know what? Rather than me try to apply again the same way I did before, let me go through someone who can officially take my paperwork, assess it, and see if there's any chance they will deny me again. So we don't sit up here waiting for half a year, or whatever it's going to be, just to get denied again. I'd rather have some backing, because that's what I was lacking. So she said they would be contacting me sometime soon. And it's going to be a little bit of a wait to get on that program. So it's a hurry up and wait time situation. But point is that we're going to try that again. And I sat down with Lydia, and it was a tough session because she really doesn't see things my way as it pertains to what type of treatment she thinks will work. She's always trying to rationalize around my choices as opposed to getting to the nitty-gritty of why those choices are chosen. Why I would even look to make certain decisions is what needs to be worked through. And she doesn't believe in that. She believes in working through progress, working through trying things, and you have to be willing. I'm like, this the willing that I have trouble with. And she doesn't know what to do with that. Just like no one else I've ever known has known what to do with that. And it's like, essentially what she was showing me was that she was frustrated and that she was giving up. And my thing is, what does it look like for progress in my situation is what I want her to re-examine the question. What does progress look like in my case? Because if you're looking for me to make certain decisions and go toward things that ultimately I would otherwise not want to do, then we got to get to the crux of why I would even choose to do that in the first place. And it's not about me breaking out of that. Because you're talking to someone who has the problem with choosing things despite knowing better. Choosing things that make me feel comfortable despite knowing better. So it's like, we got to get to the crux of why those decisions are made. Figure out what's going on in my decision-making process that is going awry, and then make determinations from there. Not continue to knock on the same door that's locked, sealed, and shut down. And she was like, well, you gotta want it. I'm like, what the hell you think I'm doing here? Like, that's really my attitude. It's like, yo, why don't you just? Or words that I've been listening to all my life. That's a struggle with my mother. She tried to, why don't you just? If you don't want it, you're not going to have it type of stuff. And I'm like, listen, if somebody has cognitive distortion, as my therapist's words are, that was inserted or developed in their life before they were actually able to function properly, then you trying to rationalize around that distortion, it's not going to get you very far. You asking them to choose to do things against that distortion defeats the purpose of defining it distortion. It's a distortion. You have to untangle that web in order to open up the door that makes it so that they want to choose better. Because if the essence of choosing were aligned with what made sense, I would not need you. So I don't know if this is just a situation where we just run into a space where philosophy meets a new case, as we've often talked about, which is why I started this channel in the first place. When somebody has the issues that I have, it's not very often you run into a person that has trouble doing things that make sense for the sake of their own protective defensive mechanisms being awry. It's what the essence of my problem is. So if you're going to ask me to go towards something that stresses me out, You need to understand that you're rationalizing with the same mechanism that's meant to keep me from being stressed out. I stay away from stress indicators. This is why I don't have the things that ultimately I need in my life. It's because instead of wanting those things to take place for the sake of having what I need, I chose to go without what I need. So you got to try to convince me to change my line of processing as it pertains to the choices that I make. Telling me to just do what I need to do is the essence of what never worked throughout the course of 40 years of my mother and myself trying to figure me out. So I just got a little irritated with her being irritated with me. It's like, we've been at this for 2 years. You ain't figured out that that's the problem? If I could just simply turn that shit on, or if I could perceive that I could simply turn that shit on, do you think I would really need to keep coming back here every couple of weeks? What do I need you for? And so I just kind of got perturbed with her at one point where I'm just like, she telling me that I'm not trying. I'm like, what not trying looks like is me not showing up. I've went through not trying. I know exactly what not trying looks like, because I did that for longer than I've been trying. This is me attempting to help myself, and this is me trying to help you help me, because I'm telling you what I believe I need, and you're telling me that there's no use in taking the path down a road where we look into the past to define why things are in place. See, like, we don't need to know the past. We just need to work on the present. I'm like, no, the reason why I don't choose certain things is because of the past. And I'm not saying I'm stuck in the past. I'm saying something went wrong in the development of my wiring. And you need to untangle that wiring. And so she just don't believe in what it takes to help me, essentially, is what I believe. Or maybe I'm wrong and I'm just rejecting the help that she's providing. I'm not certain. I won't rule out either. But the point is the choice to reject that is coming from somewhere. Why don't we get to the nitty-gritty of that? Rather than continue to bang on a door that's actually not a door at all, it's a damn wall. She knocking on a wall, talking about open up. No, that ain't how that works. So, yeah, and then being on the inside of this makes it even worse, because it's like she's looking at me like, you choose it. You make the decision at the end of the day to fix yourself and fix your problems. I'm like, man, if my brain worked properly enough to where that wasn't a problem, you would not have met me. I promise you, you would not have met me. I'd be somewhere with my life in order, with my family and all this different shit. And I told her, I said it just like this. You're looking at me and you're treating me the same way my mother treated me when she realized she couldn't help me. And she gave up on trying to get me to go to school. And I'm going to tell you the same thing I wish I would have told her. I'm not giving up on myself. I know that I've learned to love myself. That's the difference between back then and now. You may be frustrated with what you're dealing with, and it's designed for you to be frustrated with what you're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? This is meant to keep me in spaces that keep me feeling comfortable and safe. So I'm going to be able to rationalize around anything you throw at me to assure that I do anything that otherwise I don't want to do. This is what the essence of that is. And while you say I'm in control of it, if I were properly in control of it, I would override it and get to doing things that need to be done to fix my life. So are you telling me I can't be fixed? That you can't perceive the problem itself? Or what? Because I'm getting to a point where I'm starting to think she can't even fathom what the problem is. I done locked myself into a space mentally so comfortable, so well rather, that my therapist can't even get in. And don't even know where the door at. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, she's knocking on the wall. And I tried to tell her, I'm like, look, I got traumas from my childhood that developed before I was able to walk. And I was conscious for those traumas. And they left me unsafe. So what I believe this is me effectively developing defensive mechanism that rule out any chance of me going into spaces that I feel unsafe or unstressful or whatever the case may be. And that's what I told her. I'm like, look, that's what happened here. And even I can't override it. to save my own backside. But I haven't given up on me because I still gotta live. You understand what I'm saying? So just because you're getting to a point where you're just saying, she said something along the lines of, I'm starting to wonder if you even need therapy. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? I done told you I done had number of isolated periods that have lasted over a year and a half, to the point where I found myself being evicted more than once. My car taken away and all types of stuff just because I didn't want to work. And you try to tell me you don't think I need therapy? Are you crazy? I ain't the only crazy person in this room, obviously. Like, it just gets to a point where it's like, man, I like Lydia a lot, but I don't think she really knows what to do with me, man. I really don't. It's getting to a point where I'm getting frustrated. She's getting frustrated. She's taking the same steps to rationalize around my brain that most people would. And I'm not a simple brain. This is not a simple situation. And if you can't even figure out what the problem is when I'm telling you what the problem is, then you're probably the wrong person to be trying to pick the damn lock. And that's where I'm at with that. Like her a lot, but I got really frustrated with her today. For getting really frustrated with me, I'm like, you're my therapist. And you telling me you don't think I need therapy because I can't choose to go back to work? Like, that is the opposite of what's going on here. It's because I refuse to choose to go back to work that I would otherwise need therapy. So, like I said, if the things that she was suggesting weren't the problem itself, I wouldn't need therapy. I wouldn't need somebody to help me through it. Like, so yeah, man, I'm overly frustrated with this particular therapy session. But like I said, I'm not giving up on myself. I'm not giving up on the essence of of defining what progress looks like in my own situation. There's progress to be made. I've seen progress in my life because I know where I came from, what holes I was in comparison to where I'm at. So nobody who is not able to figure me out can convince me that I haven't made progress or that I'm just simply not trying hard enough or some stupid shit. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody about to do that. I've been in this earth for 41 years in August now. And I really am not letting anyone tell me that I don't want it just because they ain't figured out what the hell's wrong with me. Okay, and I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'm at a point where that's what I'm gonna say. And when I was a child, I would listen and not know myself. I would listen to people ask me why don't I just do certain things, and then feel bad about myself because I think I'm letting them down or because I don't love myself. I convinced myself I didn't love myself and then started not to love myself because of it. Listening to people approach my brain as if it was a simple problem that I was dealing with. You don't just want to try. Why don't you just... It's like that's the essence of the problem. Well, if you don't do it, I can't tell you. I can't force you to do it. I'm like, I'm not asking you to force me to do it. I'm asking you to help me through the issues that make me choose not to. And it's like no soul I've ever met has ever understood that. Nobody, not a single person. And it's like, look, man, if I wasn't trying, I'd just lay down somewhere. Like any other person that doesn't try. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting up, I'm going to these therapy sessions, I'm doing all types of stuff to assure that I dress myself in the best way possible. So, there ain't gonna be no quitting just because somebody don't know what the answers are. If you don't know the answers, we gotta find someone who has them. Period. I'm not interested in, you know what I'm saying? I'm not interested in the guilt trip of not being able to solve my own problem when I go somewhere else to get help for it. You see what I'm saying? And I come to you to help me with that. If I had that under control, there would be no need for you. So that's ultimately what it is. She looking at me like, why don't I just? Like, if I hear another mind approach my mind and ask me why don't I just do some shit that I'm here to get some help for, I'm gonna lose that mind. I'm telling you. I've been listening to people say that to me my whole life, and respectfully, it makes sense. I get it. I get that it makes sense what you're saying if you're approaching somebody who doesn't have the problem I have. And I also get that you've never seen anybody like me. I get that too. But what do you want me to do with that? It's like they expect me to just walk away and say, oh, you're absolutely right. Let me just go ahead and do all this shit. I couldn't force myself to do all this damn time because it's simply me and I got to overcome my mind. Like, no shit, Sherlock. Obviously, that's what this is. The question is, how do I make myself do it? Can you unlock that? No? Cool. I gotta find somebody who can. And I tell you, man, I know what it is. That's the thing. She don't know how to do that. She's not one of those people that's gonna sit you down and like have you going back into the past, figuring out certain things that happened in your life, and having you revisit things, and then waking you out of that space to have you rationalize around what it is that ultimately formed in your brain when you were too young to understand what the hell was going on. That's the type of therapist I need. Somebody that can help me walk through different things in the past that were what put this defensive mechanism that's gone awry together. And I know what'll work. Just got to go into that past with that little child of mine, that child that was scared and that child that was developing ways to protect himself, and try to approach him with a grown-up's mind in those moments and say, yo, this is how you looked at it as a child. This is why you developed the need to stay away from that. This is not what you need to do as a grown-up. And let's see how we can bring all of this realization back. This is what needs to be going on. That's the type of therapist I need. Not somebody who's going to say, okay, well, how about we try to do some shit that you're having trouble doing? Does it hurt? Good. Try again. It's like, well, that's not how this works. My brain is going to reject that 1,000% of the time. I'm never going to do that. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know, man. I need to just develop my own therapy. Start treating people myself. And they got people out there who have some of the similar issues I probably have, who are getting approached with the same shit and they're not getting no help. No help at all. Like, why don't you just? If it were that simple, I would have did it already. It gets to a point where you just get frustrated with people, man. But, you know, I think people look at you as a case, and when they're failing in what it is they think success looks like, they start to get frustrated because they want to win. It's like a fucking game to these people. That's what I'm gathering. It's like a game to her. If he shows me progress, I've won the game. If he shows me regression in the areas from which progress is defined, I'm losing the game. And I want to win. It's like, this ain't no fucking game. This is my life. I've been struggling with this shit my whole damn life. And I'm older than you. I'd imagine a lot older than you. I don't think that one was older than 33 years old. I'm about to be 41. So it's like, what are we talking about? What are we actually doing here, Lydia? Because I'm trying to focus on fixing my life so I can move on with it. For the first time in my life, grabbing a hold of my different things that I'm afraid of, or whatever the hell this is, and choosing things that best help me, whether I'm stressed out or anxious about those things or not. As I was telling her as well, it's like, she was saying, well, how do you know things are going to be as bad as you anticipate them being? It may not be as bad next time. I'm like, that's not what you need to be asking me. What you need to be asking me is, how do I overcome avoiding any possibility of those things being any kind of difficult? Because that's what my rejection process is actually assessing. It ain't that I think it's going to be as bad as it was last time. I'm making damn sure I don't ever have to deal with any of that shit again. That's the equation that you need to have to overcome. You're asking the wrong questions, and I told her that. She was like, you don't know it's going to be as bad next time. I'm saying I'm making damn sure it won't be any kind of bad next time, because I ain't going nowhere near it. And so that's what it really come down to. I want her to just kind of see me as a unique specimen of person and brain, and approach me in a different way than what she is, that was written in whatever book she read that tell her how to deal with human beings, because I ain't no regular human being. I ain't no regular brain. I don't assess things the way everybody else does. I didn't go through things everybody went through. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of my traumas were developed before I even knew how to walk. And as I said, I was conscious for a lot of that shit. When you're dealing with this particular brain, what I want anyone who's watching me to understand is I was already reading by 2 years old. Full sentences. I was already reading. When that trauma took place, I could already read. That's what I want people to understand. I still remember a lot of that stuff. You know, a lot of my traumas took place before my therapist was even born. You feel me? Like, literally. And I remember a lot of that stuff like it was this morning. And so it just gets to a point where it's like, yo, man, I'm not getting what I need here, man. I'm not seeing what I need to see here. People getting frustrated with me because of the problem that I have. Because of the problem that I have. Not because I'm showing some new signs or anything, because of the same thing that I came here telling you I needed help with from day one. People getting frustrated because I'm not showing them progress. She said something, I don't know, I was only half listening to the statement, but she essentially said something like, you know, we've been doing this for 2 years, and, you know, it requires effort from your part in order for us to see progress. I'm like, all right, you've been dealing with this for 2 years. I've been dealing with this for 41. You understand what I'm saying? I know exactly what you're talking about because I've been struggling with that my whole life without getting any help for it until now. So, like, what are you saying? I'm not putting in effort? Believe me, if I ain't putting in effort, you don't see me. I don't show up. You're talking to somebody that's been through multiple stints of isolation that last over a year. If I ain't trying, you don't hear from me. Like, that's the truth about this brain. I'm definitely trying. I've come a long damn way. So it's kind of hard for a new person who ain't even assessing me properly to tell me that I ain't making progress just because they ain't seeing progress in the areas that are the crux of the problem itself. And as I've said probably 6 times in this channel right now, if I could do the things you telling me, you suggesting I do, I wouldn't need you. So that's what I'm dealing with, man. It's a frustration, the same frustration I've been dealing with my whole life with people, bro. Same frustration that I've been dealing with my mother, with friends, with family. It always comes down to the why don't you just do something simple for us that you can't seem to figure out how to do or can't choose to do. You go to therapy, people tell you just need to get therapy. You go to therapy and they say the same thing that everybody else does. It's crazy how that works for me, man. That's absolutely, it's like, what the hell am I even coming to therapy for if I'm just going to get the same frustration I used to get from my mom when she was trying to get me to go to school and I told her I refused. You know what I mean? I'm getting the same energy, same look on her face. Like, you ain't trying. I ain't trying. Aren't you a professional? That's a poor assessment of your client, don't you think? Or your patient, rather. Like, you just said the nicest way possible that I ain't trying. Okay. So, I don't know, man. I appreciate y'all for letting me vent this out. I don't know that I've been very productive in this particular video. That was a very unproductive therapy session, to be honest with you. And it stemmed from me telling her that I made progress. And I told her about 2 mornings ago, right before I took my shoes back and got money for them, as you guys know about, I was sitting there looking at my finances and thinking to myself, wouldn't it be easy for me to just try to look for a 1-day gig or a 2-day gig to give me the cash that I need? Obviously, right? Like, that's about as obvious as it gets, but it's a huge breakthrough for me because, of course, through that being the obvious case, I'd never wanted to do that. I never thought, okay, that's the solution to my situation. No. My solution was always to find some other way to get money or to save the little money that I had. Down to the last penny pinch. And then when it's gone, it's literally gone. There wasn't no, let me go to work to replenish. Hell no, that's not an option. Because if I have to do that, then I'm doing all this different stuff that makes me anxious and unhappy and all this other stuff, right? But 2 days ago, or was it yesterday morning, or the day before, I'm sitting up there looking at my little finances and I'm saying, man, I actually feel like going do a little 1-day gig, do a little security gig right now. And so I was like, and then I stopped into my tracks and I'm saying, damn, this is the first time I've even thought anything like that in like 6 years. That's progress. That's the type of progress Lydia been wanting to see. She gonna be excited about this news. I actually thought about going to work. Didn't apply for shit, but it crossed my mind. And so I brought that information to her and then she said, okay, well, let's build upon that. I'm like, I don't want to build upon that. No. Not to say that I don't see the fruit in building upon it, but like the mechanism that keeps me from going towards stressful things is very much in place. Baby steps, fam. You trying to throw me back out there. And I'm telling you that the way my brain is designed is meant to keep myself from going back out there ever again. But there was a breakthrough, a massive breakthrough for the scales of myself. Maybe not for what it is you want to see within me, but this is the first time I actually thought, hey, yo, the solution to my problems is work. First time I thought this shit in 6 years. And I'm like, yo, some things we're doing is working, or something that my uncle did worked, something. It made me say, hold up, let me just consider taking the proper steps to find solutions for the problem. Instead of considering how much I would rather not, even though it could help a lot. The first time. And sure enough, it turned into more or less a passive-aggressive argument about my effort. It's like I should not have even told her that I felt that feeling for a split second, because she didn't see that as progress. She saw that as me presenting some progress and then snatching it away from her in her game. I'm like, man, I ain't about to do this. I am not about to do this. It's like I teased her with what she's been waiting to see, which is a breakthrough in me just going back out there and working forever and never leaving the job again. Which I told her is something that I've never been able to do. I'll be able to work for periods of time, but eventually I'm going to crash all the way out and then go back into an isolated space. That's what the pattern has been. This is what I've shown myself all my life. So even if you do find a way to make me want to go to work, the work isn't done for my mental health, because I'm still just a moment away from another year or 2 years of isolation after getting the job any damn way and working it for however long it would be. So if you think that I'm cured because you found a way to get me to go back to work, you missed out on the understanding of what the problem actually is. It ain't. It has never been going to work. It's staying out there. It's staying indefinitely. Like regular human beings. Going to work, staying there, keeping the job. That's the problem. It ain't never really been work. I always find myself rationalizing the idea that maybe I can go back to work. But I'll be there for 3 years and then I'll rationalize the reality that I hate this and I don't ever want to do it again. You understand what I'm saying? I think she thinks a win is me going back to work. No, a win is me getting back to work and staying there through the ups and downs, losing that job if it comes to that, and then picking up another one and staying there for as long as I can. You know, that's what real progress looks like in this situation. So I don't even think she's aiming for the right stuff. I really don't. Not based on what I've been watching her do and what she's been asking for. It's like she thinks that once she get me back to work, she can drop me as a client. Like, if that's what you're aiming for, you don't even know why I'm here. If that's what you think the problem is, you ain't paying no attention to your data here. So I'm over this. I'll tell y'all the truth, man. I like Lydia a lot. It ain't personal, but I'm over this. Her philosophy about how to approach my brain doesn't approach my brain problems at all. That's what this really comes down to, y'all. And it hasn't the whole time, and we've known that. And I keep suggesting to her what I think works, and I think she only half listens to that. I truly don't. A lot of times when I try to get into my bag, she cuts me off. She don't even let me finish the sentence to explain to her why I'm seeing things the way I do. It's like, all right, fam, you're not interested in doing anything but suggesting me to move. You don't care about the data. You ain't interested in what I'm talking about. For the most part, you just want to see the results you can see so that you can say you won your little game. And honestly, I ain't playing. I'm not playing anymore. So I think I need to find another therapist after this particular therapy session. I think I'm at a space where I'm like, this woman ain't about to help me, man. She ain't. She's just about to piss me off. That's all she's about to do, is continue to be frustrated with the same stuff that everybody else is frustrated with. And to be honest with you, I do not go to professionals to be treated like I've been treated by unprofessionals all my life. That's not what I go to you for. You supposed to have a doctorate or some shit in this field? I expect for you to have a bit more of an understanding space as to how to deal with this type of brain. And if not, then like I said, I'm in the wrong place. You know what I'm saying? So, as I speak in a loop, man, I just want y'all to know how much I appreciate having this platform to speak about everything I want to, man. Because some days I want to talk about stuff that ain't got nothing to do with me, and other days I need to talk about stuff that has everything to do with me. And this is one of those days. There are other things going on much more important than what's going on in my bubble, though. And so I keep asking you guys to get knowledgeable about everything that we talk about in other videos. More knowledgeable than myself. A lot of y'all are much better studies than me, and you will get to learn a lot more about the subjects we talk about on this channel than I would ever even dig into. And I definitely think that I'm pointing people in the right direction who may be smarter than me. So, as it pertains to mental health, I would say to any professionals, sometimes the stuff in the book don't tell you what you need to know, man. Just like anything else, experience will help you with patience. The book will give you guidelines as to how to approach certain things, but if you stick to the book a little too much when it comes to psychology, you're going to find yourself missing the point with a lot of people that you deal with. Because mental health and cognitive, what's the word? I don't even know if I know the word, to be honest with you, but cognitive consciousness is not linear. It's not something that you can look into a book, say, I understand the brain, and then move with. No, people are really, really, really fluid. Life is fluid. Trauma is fluid. So if you're going by the book as regards to how to handle your patients, there are going to be times where you're just going to miss the boat, and you're not going to help nobody. You know what I mean? Trying to follow that damn book ain't going to help nobody. You got to listen to them, and then you got to get creative with how to approach their specific psyche, man. It's so important that psychologists hear me when I say this, because a lot of y'all think that one brain fits all, and that is some bullshit. And my mother used to tell me something. She used to say, as in regards to the naked body, when you seen one booty, you seen them all. Boy, there was never more of a lie my mother ever told, I swear to God. It was the biggest lie my mother ever told me. That's not true. Everybody's shaped differently. Everybody has different things. They might have the same body parts, but those body parts are shaped differently. One body does not equal all bodies. Not in no way, shape, or form. No, in no way, shape, or form. And I think a lot of people approach brains that same way. You've seen one person, you've seen them all. No, you haven't. I promise you haven't. Although a lot of people are alike, and if you deal with enough people who are alike, you may confuse yourself into thinking that everybody's the same way. But then you're going to miss out on helping somebody specific that comes your way that don't think, don't operate like any of those people. And that's the problem. I am one of those. Video 44. Thank y'all for watching. I'm out.